All right. I think I see us. We are good.
You see it?
All right, what's going on, everybody? You are watching Truth to Light. I'm your host, Professor G, and on today's topic, we're talking about COVID-19. Now, it's something that seems to impact us all from one scale to another. Now, this virus hit our world like a freight train, and we could not see it nor hear it coming. Now, it seemed to happen so quickly that one day we just woke up and the world was different. Now, here's how. Worldwide, cases have reached 1.9 million. Now, U.S. cases have reached over 500,000 and U.S. deaths over 23,000, excuse me. Now that's a lot. Now, I have a couple of people who have an extraordinary story. They are survivors of COVID-19, and they have a wonderful message for you today. I'm sitting here with Taco and Lisa Reed. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Doing great.
Good. Well, I'm so glad that y'all decided to join me. You know, it's really a blessing and an honor for y'all to come on and share your story, your testimony. And as we know, without a test, there can be no testimony. And also, we're going to, some people have questions. Some people have a lot of misinformation that is out there on the internet that we may get a chance to clear up today. First, what I want you to do is just kind of tell us about your story. Describe some of the experiences that you had with this and the symptoms that you both felt.
Well, a few weeks back, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had a tingling sensation in my head, and Lisa was, I don't know, something she was feeling, but she was telling me something didn't feel right about her. And so we started to pray and believe God, that everything was going to be okay. But even with that prayer, I knew that something was off with my body as well. And so that was a Sunday night. And then that Monday morning, I woke up with a sore throat. My back was hurting. My body was aching. I had a fever, headache, a lot of symptoms that I typically don't have. I don't pretty much get sick. Neither does Lisa, and she was having the same symptoms as well, but we didn't think COVID-19. We were just like something wasn't right, so she got up and went to work, and I was loafing around the house and cooking, and but I still didn't feel right. And so once I watched the news, I saw a reporter on ABC, and she started to describe all the symptoms that she had, and I had every last symptom, like the body aches, back pain, the headaches, the fever, the cough, the nausea, vomiting, loss of smell, loss of taste. We had all those symptoms, so I called my doctor and tried to get a test for me and Lisa because I knew she wasn't feeling as well as she should have. Mm-hmm. And we got tested a couple of days later, then we got our results back the following week, and it basically confirmed that we had the virus.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Now, what are some of once you got that confirmation, what were some of the more prolonged symptoms that you felt? Like, for example, did it affect your breathing in any kind of way that we always hear about in the news?
Yeah, the breathing wasn't as bad with me. We weren't doing anything excruciating, so we had to breathe a lot per se. It was just mainly we were in the bed. My body was aching so bad I really couldn't move that much, so I wasn't doing too much for breathing. My biggest was the headaches and backaches and the pain. That was my symptoms that were really bad. With Taco, his was a little bit worse than me, and I think I went into mommy mode and wife mode. I kind of put my feelings and my pain to the side to try to take care of him as much as I could.
You see, my sustaining symptoms was the headache and the fever. The headache was prolonged for a few days, and then that subsided. I couldn't smell and taste, and that was awkward because the food that I normally would eat, when I ate it, it didn't taste good. Well, obviously because I couldn't taste it. And I was just wasting some of the food because I just couldn't taste it. And at one point, one of my worst days, Lisa was trying to get me up to eat some chicken noodle soup, and I couldn't even get up to eat it. I just told her to grab a straw, and I sucked the broth out the bowl while I was laying. She held the straw to me while I sort of tipped out the bed, and I just couldn't do it. But that fever was the worst out of everything. That was probably took me out. But thank God that, with the treatment methods that the doctors gave us for the Tylenol and ibuprofen, it helped us to get healed quicker, I would say, and go on from there.
So it is okay for people who may be suffering to take ibuprofen. I know there's a lot of information in the news that it may actually increase your fever.
Yeah, it was rumors about ibuprofen messing up your immunity, saying it lowers your immunity. And a lot of, some of my frat brothers said it on our conference calls. We had family members telling me not to take it because it lowers your immunity, because I'm a cancer survivor, as you know, Raphael, but they don't know I'm a cancer survivor. And, I was kind of worried because I thought my immune system might still be not as strong as everybody else's, but I don't worry about it. I just try to move with caution, and so I just kept doing what I was doing, but I didn't think the ibuprofen would have a problem because I've taken it before with no problems. So we took it, and I wasn't taking the ibuprofen appropriately like I was being told, and that's what helped to prolong the fever. And once I began to take it appropriately, my fever went away. And then 3 days later, after I took the last pill for my fever, it was 72 hours with no medicine and no symptoms. I felt great after that.
Okay, good. So let me paint a picture for the listening audience real quick about how many people were in your house. And I'm sure that's one of the things that we were all wondering, since you two both were infected. Were you practicing social distance among each other in fear of reinfecting each other? Kind of lay that out for us, please.
No, actually, my dad was saying that maybe you guys shouldn't be sleeping together. Because I thought about it. I'm like, okay, we got a twin size blow up bed. And I said, maybe I can go in the living room and sleep in there. At least I could stay in the bedroom. But no, every day we were in the bed together. But Lisa was more in and out the bed than I was. I would go use the bathroom and come back to bed, or I would eat and come back to bed. Lisa was able to do a little more. Her symptoms didn't really debilitate her, but mine left me in the bed. And so I don't think we like prolonged the infection or anything.
I don't think so. And, a lot of people, we got help from everybody. People were leaving things on our front door and our back door, and I would get up and get those items, the juice, the chicken noodle soup and things like that, to make sure that we were okay and we were eating. I didn't have enough energy to cook or make anything, obviously. But it was times where we would look at each other and said, okay, who's getting ready to get up now and get some water? And, we were laying in the bed for, let's say a couple of days. And, your mom will call and say, okay, did you guys get up, change the sheets? So we had to get up and with all the energy we had to change the sheets.
And that was a big deal, changing the sheets and washing them.
Yeah.
So what we did, we actually rotated 2 different sets of sheets. So one set of sheets that we just took off, we put them in the washer, and then we put the ones that we just washed back on the bed, and we in the pillowcases, and we alternated them like 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah, because we were trying to. Our linen closet for our bed is in our daughter's room, and we were trying to prevent the entry in her room and not like leave germs or anything in her room. So even every day, even if I touched the door, I just would wipe. When I was feeling good at particular times of the day, I would walk around and spray the door handles with the Lysol and wipe them down, just to make sure that we were just being more clean.
Okay. So basically this is something that really, really lowers your energy and makes it hard for you to
Hmm.
do just simple daily tasks.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're very lethargic. And I don't know if and the thing about it is it hits everybody different. We had a friend today that called and said that this particular person tested positive for COVID, still been going to work, no symptoms, no problems,
Mhm.
asymptomatic. If you told this person to probably let's go to the mall and go shop, they would be gung ho, let's go do this and that. And this person just found out that they tested positive, and but when we tested positive, we felt it. They don't feel it, so you figure there's so many people that can be
Hmm.
infected and not know it, and it affects everybody differently.
Mhm.
Again, we're in the same house, different symptoms,
Hmm.
different problems, but if she wasn't here to take care of me and that fever, man, I would have been hit. I'm talking about the shakes. I thought I was done. And if, along with the people bringing food to us in our community, along with people praying for us and us responding to text messages and things of that nature,
Hmm.
if we didn't have a way of communication with the outside world, outside of this house, we probably wouldn't have been able to make it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, if you're just now joining us, we're live here with Taco and Lisa Reed, who are sharing their survival story on the coronavirus. Now, you kind of talked about the people who were there, and just to paint this picture. Now, you guys have a daughter. Was your daughter out of the house, or was she somewhere separate, quarantined during this time period?
Yes. As soon as we started feeling those symptoms that Sunday night, she left Monday morning. I
Mhm.
went to work. I'm like, I don't feel too hot, but I'm gonna still go to work. Um, Taco was already working from home a week prior, so he was already quote unquote quarantined from work in a roundabout way. He was working from home. He wasn't going as many places as I was. I was going to work in a grocery store and coming right back home. So once we were getting those symptoms or having those symptoms, Taco said, Lisa, he called me at work and he said, I'm gonna just send the baby to my mom's house
Okay.
and pack her bag. We don't know if we got it, but let's just make sure everything is good. And I'm so glad that he had enough sense to do that. Taco's mom lives about 5 minutes away from us, so she wasn't far. Like I said, she packed her bag up and she was gone. So, and honestly, she still hasn't came back home, and it's been almost a month.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we
So
were
I told her,
wondering. We were wondering. So
yes,
y'all still playing it safe?
yeah,
No,
yeah,
not
we were
really.
until
No,
Friday.
yeah, she gave her the ultimatum, said you better come home by tomorrow. So she's moving back home tomorrow if she knows it's good for her, So it's just yeah, we had the good sense, and honestly, our daughter could have been asymptomatic.
Hmm.
She could have been asymptomatic, but my mom and dad, who she was with, and my aunt and my baby brother, who she was around every day, none of them got sick. So unless she was asymptomatic and all the four of them were also asymptomatic, we don't know. But something told me that morning when I didn't feel good. I usually go because we were already home, schools were closed, and I went in her room and I had made her breakfast. And I went in the room and I laid on her bed, but I didn't. Usually, I'm real affectionate, so I would have kissed her, messed with her. I would have been punching her or doing something to wake her up, just to play with her. But that morning, particular morning, I laid on her blanket, and I said, "Hey, babe, I got this food in there, blah blah blah." Something that typical dad would say to his daughter, and I just left it at that. I made the food. She went in there. And then I couldn't even eat my breakfast all the way. So I ate half of my breakfast, but nothing is still sending me any red flags. I'm just noticing that I'm tired. My appetite is gone. But I can still taste my food, but I didn't want it. And after that, once I realized, after I heard what that reporter said on TV about her symptoms, I called Lisa, I called my mom, I called the doctor, and then we packed a bag for my daughter to get out the house.
All
And the
right.
thing about it is, I'll say this too. When I went to work that Monday, they take our temperature every day at work. They still are now. I'm not back to work yet, but I didn't have a temperature. So, that was one of the major things that a lot of people are saying were, oh, do you have a temperature? Do you have a fever? Then you have it.
Right.
And I didn't get that symptoms, but Taco did. So it's like you don't even know that you might have it, based on everybody else's symptom because everyone feels it different.
And also, Raphael, before you ask the next question, that friend that I spoke up earlier that found out that they had that they were positive doesn't have any symptoms at all. No fever, no cough, no problems or anything, lost appetite, none of it.
So nothing. So
nothing.
just like you're saying, what you're talking about asymptomatic, and for those who may not know, that's just basically a term to describe people who can actually transmit the virus to others. So it's possible that they may actually have the virus. So when he said that his daughter, when you said that your daughter may be asymptomatic, she may have had it and could have possibly transferred it to you guys both, and she had no symptoms whatsoever, and go through anything.
I didn't think of that. Yeah, she could have given it to us. Yeah.
So how do you think this virus? How do you think you guys got the virus?
Honestly, that's the $1 million question. We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know. The place that I've been, I was at our salon. I was at the grocery store. Went to church that Sunday. And pretty much just not touching everybody, just out in public, but not wearing a mask. I wasn't in anyone's face for them to necessarily, have the water particles out of their mouth to come on to me. So we don't know. I don't know. Lisa doesn't know how we got it.
No, I went to the grocery store and to work, and I was the first person at my workplace that had the virus. So it's not like somebody else had it and they could have contaminated something and I touched it or was close to them. I was the first person in my facility that tested positive for COVID-19.
And Lisa, what I want to ask you about that is, how did that play a part in your work life moving forward? How did they treat you when they found out you were positive, and after you told them that that you don't have it anymore? How are people dealing with you?
Well, I don't know if I need to say all this, but
they don't know your jobs.
Well, I work at a place is very difficult. They were kind of concerned, I will be honest with you, but I got retested on this past Friday. My job gave me the option. They paid for me to get retested down in Detroit, Michigan. There you can get the test results back within minutes. They only have these certain tests for certain people, healthcare workers and things like that, where you can get the test back right away. I tested negative, which is a good thing. So I did send that to my job. I still have a little cough, so I haven't been back to my facility yet. But I did receive an email from my employer stating that my desk has been moved. So I was kind of working in a location where we still were 6 feet away from each other. Our desk is not cubicle, but it's an open area. Some people have offices, but everyone, I was 6 feet away. But they did move my desk to a location where I am by myself, kind of closed off from everyone else.
Like segregation.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems like that would actually impact the way that you can actually perform your job duties.
Yes. Yes.
And it totally prohibits her from actually performing her job effectively. So I don't even know the rationale behind what is being done. Hopefully they change it, but it limits the productivity of the things she has to do for the people she has to do it for. Yeah, so I don't.
Yeah, so of course I'm a little frustrated. It's a little difficult because with someone having the virus, you're already, people might be looking at you like, oh my God, is something wrong with her still?
Right.
Does she have, you know what I mean? So you already had that feeling. And then when you get an email from your employer stating that, okay, you're not here when you get back, you'll be here by yourself. Like you said, secluded from everyone else in the office and the workplace. And it's going to make my job a lot difficult. I mean, they have put things in place where a mask is mandatory, that you have to wear it all day at work and 6 feet distance, social distancing and things like that. So all of that is in place, but honestly, it will be difficult when I do go back to work just because I already feel some type of way because they have secluded me from everyone else.
And also, the reason why, I mean, she could go back to work, but she hasn't because of the cough. So she had a cough before he had COVID-19, but no matter what you say, you don't got the coronavirus no more, but you still coughing. You understand what I'm saying? So nobody's gonna want to be around you. Nobody's gonna interact. Everybody's gonna be afraid of you. So it's just best that we try to figure out how to handle the cough. And actually, the last day and a half, today and yesterday, I heard you cough earlier once, twice, but it's been real limited. When she gets excited, when she sees me, she starts coughing. And I've been working in the living room. See, she got excited.
She's excited right now.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because you're talking about the psychological implications of this. Right now, there's a running joke that, oh, don't cough around me because you might have it, right? So that's something that we play. I remember a guy, I was in public, and he coughed a couple times around me, and he did not know me, but he immediately started explaining why he was coughing. It's the medication.
Yeah.
And, I don't have it, right? So it's interesting. So as we talk about the psychological implications, how has it played a factor in both of you guys' life? Like, let me just be 100 with you. Did the fear of death ever creep in? Because you hear so much over the news and how many people are passing away.
Yeah, and I'll say this too before Taco talks. Even with our daughter, we only have one daughter. She turned 18 on April the 2nd. And even her, she was just like, "Ma, you coughing? I ain't coming back home." We like, "Look, I'm good." She's like, "I don't know." And of course, I got tested this past Friday, and the test was negative. She was the first person we called and said, "Baby, Mommy doesn't have it, so that means Daddy doesn't have it. We want you to come home." "Oh, well, I'll come home in a couple of days." So even our own child,
it was kind of. Yeah, it is. We're glad that she's not sick, but it kind of. We don't want to be in our feelings about it, but I mean, when your child don't want to come be around you, because it ain't a good feeling. But we understand that how it affects everybody differently, and you have to respect that. And that's the thing about it. We can't be in our feelings because it affects everybody differently. You don't know how the next person that, let's say, if I had infected somebody, it could have been to death with them. But we live, so you can't minimize the disease and overlook the power that is in, or the magnitude of the disease. I would say that. I don't want to say the power, but the magnitude of it and how it spreads, because everybody has different things going on with their body, and their immune system could be strong or weak, and it'll attack it accordingly. But it was a time that on April 2nd, our daughter's birthday, I actually thought I might have had pneumonia, and because I had it before, and I hadn't felt that way since I had pneumonia the last time. And it scared the life out of me because I just thought I might die. So if I don't go to the hospital, I might die just laying here trying to be big and trying to be tough and thinking the muscles can stop the coronavirus and everything else. So decided to go to the hospital, and the funny thing is, the hospital didn't even want us there. They won't say it, but when somebody doesn't want you around.
Oh, yeah.
But they weren't rude. They were very nice, but they didn't want me there. It was like, when a disease is around you, I had to go through the back door. I went in the front entrance to the ER, and they told me that I couldn't come in there. They said, "No, you got to go." I'm like, the ladies outside, the nurses, they had a booth, actually like an RV outside.
A
trailer. And the nurses told me to go through this way. And I'm like, well, they just told me. So I went back out, and the nurses said, "No, go that way." And the ladies at the front desk, they said, "You can't be here." They said, "You got to go through the ambulatory entrance." The ambulance entrance. So I went in, and it was a nurse in there. She had this high-tech mask. Came in. She stayed in there with me the whole time. They were sliding things under the door, so they didn't have to basically add more contact to my room. And the doctor said, you're going home. And so don't come back to the ER unless I couldn't breathe. So, my breathing was cool. But after I had this, me and her was crying on the phone. She didn't leave the ER parking lot. Her, my dad, and my brother, one of my brothers, sat outside. She was calling people to pray for me. But I'm just blessed to be here, because that was my worst day. And actually, that was the day everything turned around for me.
Yep. Like you said, on my daughter's 18th birthday, Taco's temperature was 103. He was shaking in the bed. I had been going through that almost a week straight. He had a temperature every single day, 100, 101, 102, cold showers. We did the alcohol rub down. We did every home remedy you can think of. Like you said, with the Tylenol, he just wasn't taking enough. So that particular night, I said, I can't take it. I don't know what to do. I want to make sure you're okay. He was scared. And then we went to the ER. And I think, like you said, that was the most traumatic night, because I'm thinking, I'm tested positive. We had the same thing. How come we can't be together? We were together already
in the
house quarantine for 2 weeks at that point, or so. We've been together for 20 something days, going on together day in and day out. How come I can't be with him at this point? And she says, no, you can't be with him. You can't go inside the hospital with him. And I just lost it. I just started crying. I hugged him. He started crying. I'm just like, oh my God. You see it on the news where a wife drops off her husband to the ER or to the hospital, and that's the last time you see them. Like, we had to stop watching the news at some point, even when we got the diagnosis that day, or
we turned the TV
off. It was just
depressing.
Too much. Oh, very.
Yeah, because I expected it to come back positive, but when it came back positive, we turned the TV off. And we were just shocked, like, oh my God, we got it, But even we had already been feeling symptoms and everything else, so it was a confirmation, but there is no treatment for it. But if I didn't have the Tylenol and the ibuprofen, I probably would have cooked. My body.
He was so hot, and like you said, at the hospital, I just lost it because I couldn't be with him. And I was just like, no, I need to go there with him. And they're like, ma'am, you cannot go back there. So, of course, went back to the car, and I'm bawling. His dad and them are in their cars. And we just sat at the hospital in the parking lot until he came back out, until they gave him enough medication to bring that fever down. And it was just the happiest day, the saddest day, and also the happiest day, because he did walk out that hospital. Because I know a lot of times people aren't walking out the hospital. Right. Again, we hear those stories. We watch CNN, the local news, where people are trying to FaceTime loved ones to say their goodbyes and things like that. And if you look at it, we shouldn't be here today. Yeah. We really shouldn't, especially with Taco, with his prior history, medical history, and everything that he's been through in the past, and with his temperature and everything that we've been through. We shouldn't be here today.
Well, it's a blessing that you are. A lot of times, we may think or feel one thing, but God has something else in store.
Yeah.
And this is a part of it, of your new journey towards your new life.
Yeah.
And now I remember you saying that you knew that you were COVID positive on your daughter's birthday. From that day, how long did it take you for the symptoms to subside, and that you knew that you were clear from symptoms? Of course, every patient would be different, but for you guys, about how long did that take?
That day, okay, so that was the last day of my temperatures, April 3rd. So then by April the 5th, it had been 72 hours. No, I didn't feel bad, but Lisa was trying, you got a temperature, and it was 100. So it really wasn't bad, but I took a pill. So on April the 3rd, I took some more pills, but I didn't take any pills on the 4th, 5th, and the 6th. So that would have been the 72 hours with no more symptoms. And Lisa just had the cough. And again, her cough was existent before we tested COVID, positive. But as of, we didn't see any people or touch any people outside of us two for 26 days, 27 days, 26, 20 days. And that was the day we went down and verified that she was negative. And we went on our way home. We stopped at Flint. saw her mom and sister, hugged them, kissed them, and then came back to Saginaw, saw my parents. And I banged on the door. It was probably like 10, 11 o'clock. I banged on the door because I just needed to touch my parents and my daughter. And so when they opened the door, my mama got her pajamas on, and I'm jumping and screaming and hugging her and laughing. And so she's laughing. And I know probably inside she was like, I don't know if I should be touching Taco, but I didn't give her a chance not to touch me.
Right.
And then, I hugged my daughter. I jumped on her. I was punching her and all that. It was just good to see her and my dad. So it was just exciting. But yeah, it was about 20, we were quarantined about 25 or 6 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we were really, I guess you would say, sick or not feeling well. I think about 2 weeks, 14.
No, but it was
more.
like 3 weeks. It was 2.5. It was going to 3 weeks, but we didn't have any symptoms. However, we still stayed away because we saw a video of a young lady who had the virus. The virus ran its course. She felt perfect like we do. Mm-hmm. Energy level, everything, no symptoms. And yet she still tested positive after the second test. So we wanted to make sure that it was out of our system. So that's why we did an additional 10 or so days, 11, 12 days away from everybody, just to make sure the virus ran its course out of our system.
Well, that's amazing testimony right there.
Yeah.
So if you're just now logging in, y'all, and joining in, we're sitting here with Taco and Lisa Reed. They are telling us about their triumphant victory over COVID-19, sharing some of the experiences, how they felt, what they went through, some of the things that you may want to look out for. And one of the things that we kind of know that it really takes a village, right? Mm. Tell us about your village of people who really helped you. And one of the things I really want to talk about is the Wall of Jericho. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, our village consists of the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, the AKA sorority, our church family, our Facebook family, our friends, our family that is not blood. You name it, man. People showed up that we didn't know loved us like they did or do. We're just really outgoing. We love on everybody. We treat everybody right, but no matter how you look or what your ethnicity is, we just treat everybody right. Sometimes I see people and I don't know who they are. I promise you, I don't know who they are. I talk to them like we just got finished breaking bread. And my daughter says, Daddy, who was that? I said, Lolo, I don't know who that was. But I made sure that person didn't know I didn't know who they were. But I just loved on them and treated them with so much. And Lisa does the same thing. And the love, like we have 5,000 friends on Facebook, the max. But I tell you, we know almost all 5,000 of them. And that's no lying. From our friends from Japan that we really know them, all the way to the East Coast, up and down. We got family, friends, classmates, you name it. We connect with them, and they showed up for us we have friends from California sending packages in the mail. And these packages, I work in healthcare, they were elaborate, like when they send vaccines and they come in with ice pack. It was so elaborate, like it came from the business, and they spent some good money on the shipping. To friends, her AKA sorority sisters, bringing food every day. I mean, most of the time we had to get up because our doorbell was saying somebody's at the door. On our Ring doorbell, somebody's at the door. So you couldn't just lay in the bed. And then some days it would be loads of groceries at the front door or at the back door, and they just didn't hit the Ring doorbell. And so, people, if we didn't have that village, we wouldn't have, because Lisa couldn't cook. I sure enough couldn't cook because I could barely eat. And we had family. So on this particular day, it was April the 1st, actually April Fool's Day, the day they told me to go to the hospital because my fever was bad. So Lisa called all our family in town and they began to pray. So we have family members outside the house, walking around the house like it was the wall of Jericho 7 times. Then we had other family members riding around our block 7 times, trying to break down the wall of Jericho that was preventing my temperature from breaking. And I promise you, when they got finished, I took my temp again, and my temp was normal. So it was a blessing. I didn't have to go to the ER. It was we were so ecstatic. We were, getting ready to go to the hospital, and then we checked my temperature again, and it broke. Yep. So it was a blessing. We got some prayer warriors in our family who believe in the impossible. We believe in the impossible. We've seen the impossible. COVID-19 was a test that if we didn't cast our cares upon God, we would have failed, because we would have tried to handle it on our own. But even when I was shaking, I was praying, and Lisa was praying. And various times in the day, we was praising God, because we didn't let this sickness steal our joy or steal our praise. We just kept giving God the glory, because we knew this sickness wasn't unto death.
Yeah, one of our neighbors called us or texted me, and he said, Lisa, I know Lauren's birthday is coming up soon. You guys are celebrating late, because our family was outside shouting, praising God, just thanking God for Taco's total healing that particular night. And it was late.
It was late.
It was dark outside, and they didn't care.
Nope.
It was, we had about 10, 15 cars outside. They were walking. We live on a corner. So we have a corner lot, so it's a little bit larger, the grass area. They were just walking. I even opened up the window so that they can see that Taco was doing better. I had to take him in a shower, give him that cold shower to bring that temperature down as well. And when they saw Taco at that window, they just, oh, geez, they lost it.
Yeah, they lit up. And, it was an amazing feeling. And you don't realize how important it is to see people you love or your friends. Like when my frat brothers was texting me, man, it gave me so much joy. And I'm like, man, they thought of me that much to text me or to call me. Because I knew the guys loved me. Because I expected, and it was so funny, the day before we felt the symptoms, I called all my frat brothers, and I asked them, were they okay? I was checking on them, and I was showing love to them, not realizing the very next week they were going to have to reciprocate it. And Lisa did the same thing. She sent edible arrangements to some of her older sorors, just to send them some fruit. Hey, I'm thinking of you. I hope you're well. We're quarantine, blah, blah, blah. And they end up having to be reciprocated unto her. And it was just a blessing that people loved us that much to take time out their day to call us, to text us, to pray for us, to bring us food. I promise you, man, we're in debt to our city, our friends, our family, to God. We don't take any of it lightly, but I thank God for the personalities that we have, but just to love on everybody and treat people right.
And one thing too, Taco was saying, he said, Lisa, your sorority sisters, they just know what to do. They wouldn't call and say, what do you need? Or if you need something, call or text me, because we didn't have enough energy to pick up the phone and call and say, hey, okay,
we weren't thinking about we need some milk or some juice.
They just dropped it off. And everything, the honesty that they dropped off, we used, we needed it. And he said, oh my God, this is what women do versus men. Taco said, with the brothers, it's like, all right,
the brothers will say, call me, hey, and they don't mean no harm by it. They say, you know what, let me know if you need something, I'll bring it over right away. And it's sincere, it's legit, they mean it. But women, what I've experienced, the women was like, look, I'm bringing something by. I got these groceries. One of her good sorority sisters was like, okay, do you want beef stew or turkey? It wasn't an option. You want cornbread with it? Like, yeah. Okay, we got this chicken. They brought rotisserie chickens over for us. Pudding, fruit, you name it, Gatorade. I mean, you name it. People spent money on us, and they didn't have to do it.
And the thing about it is, some people, like you see in the news, they're alone. So that's what they say, check on the elderly, love thy neighbor.
Yeah.
You have to check on people because you don't know what they need or what they're going through. So we just thank God that we do have people on our side. But even for the people that don't, even now, we're feeling better. We're feeling good. So we had his frat brother, you know, he was ill. Once Taco got well enough, he said, I'm going to the grocery store. This is what I'm getting. I'm dropping it off to him at his door. Yeah. So even if we know anybody that is sick, we're definitely willing to get out there and do the same thing.
Do the same thing,
yep. For us.
And she mentioned my frat brother was sick. He got sick towards the tail end of us getting better. And once I learned a lot from her AKA sisters, well, how to treat my frat brother. You know what I'm saying? So I went to the grocery store. I called him and said, what did he need? He was like, nothing. I said, bro, look, you don't have to feel different because your brother is asking you what you need. And he didn't know. So I went and got him some stuff, took it to him, and he was so appreciative. And then I did it a couple of days later again because he really didn't have somebody to go to like that. And I just thank God for if I didn't help anybody during this time, I was able to help them.
That's good. You know, one thing that I hear is that you really reap what you sow. And y'all put so much good and so much positivity and so much love invested in others. Just how you were saying, how you were reaching out to people, didn't know that you were going to be checked up on, right?
Yeah, we both did it. That the prior day, we reached out to everybody because of Michigan. The governor put the stay home thing, and we were just reaching out, you know, telling people.
Church members, just everybody. And I think we sent edible arrangements to 20 people, 15 to 20 people. We, you know, they just had a special, and I said, hey, Taco, let's do this. And I got all the addresses together, and I called, and they sent it to, I think 15 to 20. I can't think of the number, but church members, our sorority, I mean, just anybody. And, you know, that's just what we do. And I'm so glad that we did. And it was, like you said, we definitely
it was right on time, man, because they were our curbside pickup. They was our grub hub. You know, they were everything for us. And when we did our Facebook Live video after the fact, I couldn't stop thanking them because it was, and then they were even cash apping our daughter on her birthday because we couldn't do anything. Man, my daughter got so much money just because how we treated people. And you don't realize how far that goes. Just you loving on people and treating them unconditional, it can come and benefit you, because I'm a beneficiary of it, and so is Lisa. So, I mean, God is just good.
Amen, amen. And that's like I said, that's a testament of who you guys always have been. And I'm glad that love and support came back to you in a time of need, because many people don't have anyone, you know, and many people have treated people wrong in their lives. And then when it's time for them to receive a helping hand, they don't get it. So I'm glad that village was really, really strong for you guys. One of the things I wanted to talk about, you know, you watch the news and you see people on the news protesting in Michigan about open back up the state. We want to go back to work. And even here in the state of Georgia, you know, we're opening back up unlimited things on as early as Friday. Now, what message do you have for, you know, for people who are wanting to go ahead and go back out in society and start back working? Do you feel that these restrictions are right on time, or is it a little bit too soon?
It's definitely too soon. And I believe that they're not using wisdom. They're more concerned with money. And my thing about it is, if people are dead, nobody's going to be able to spend money. Or if people are in the hospital, they definitely can't spend money. So why are you trying to rush it? But at the core, I really believe a lot of things changed once the news revealed that more African Americans were being disproportionately affected by COVID-19. And once that was exposed, I promise you, if you look at the data of when they started to say how African Americans were disproportionately affected, the states where, like especially in the South, they wanted to open back up. They didn't care about it because it made it sound like it's just affecting African Americans or Mexicans or Hispanics. So it was like, you know what? It's not affecting us, it's affecting them. So why are we being prevented from going back to work? And I feel that same way for here in Michigan. So I mean, I'm not one of those conspiracy theorists, but it just makes sense that none of that happened until they started saying what they said. Because it's common sense that we can't open the country back up until everybody gets tested. And they're banking on, they're saying, well, if something happens, we have this contingency plan. Why make yourself have to use more? Because what's going to happen is if things happen like a phase 2, where infection spreads, it's going to be worse than the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're going to have more casualties. But why even make those sacrifices for some dollars? It's not worth it.
Yeah, same thing with my job. I'm an essential worker, and I got a couple text messages from coworkers saying, "Hey, Elisa, we're getting this extra. It's almost $100 a day on top of our salary. What we're getting, in order to work in this type of environment. You need to hurry up and come back to work." I'm not worried about that extra money. My health and my health of my husband and my daughter, my family is more important than me trying to rush back to work. So again, money is a root of all evil. So
the love of money.
The love of money. So it's just like, I'm not worried about that. I'm not going to be rushing back, just trying so things can open up or I can get more money for going back to work in that type of environment.
Right. I definitely agree. And then some places are not even paying hazard pay. Just to risk your life to be back out there. So I definitely agree. You definitely need to stay home right now, stay safe, despite what some of the governors are allowing the restrictions to be lifted. I think it's time to stay at home and be with your family and make sure that your health is the primary concern and definitely not this economy. Now, just real quick before I wrap things up, I ran across a little article on Medical News Today, and it was basically talking about some of the myths. And I just wanted to run some of these by y'all to see if y'all have heard some of these myths. I'm sure, first of all, y'all already heard that blacks can't get it.
That was initially, we heard black people, but I thank God we didn't believe that foolishness. We were already at home, and we still practice what we're doing now. But yeah, it was stupid for the people to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely a myth.
Another one you hear, only older adults can get it, so young people are not at risk, right? Of course, that's false, right?
Yeah, we had the first child death a couple of days ago in Michigan. She was 5 years old.
5 years old.
Dad was a firefighter, mom was a cop, and she's gone. 5 years old, and if that was us, I would be devastated. I wouldn't be no good, man.
Yeah, same here. Now, here's another one. They're saying that COVID-19 is just like the flu. Now, since y'all undergone it, what's the similarities? Is it anywhere close?
We had the flu before.
Yeah, it has some similarities like the flu. Mm-hmm. Initially with the, what is it? Just the fever? No, it has some similar. It feels like the flu, but the flu don't do all the stuff that did. And the flu don't last that long. The flu lasts a day or so, get out your system. You can get over in a weekend. This thing, it tried to take you out. Man, and I'm very strong-willed, so is Lisa. And I would be counting in the bed. I'm like, okay, in 5 seconds, I'm going to get up. And I say, okay, in 10 seconds, I'm going to get up. All right, in 15 seconds, I'm going to get up. I couldn't get up, man. It was like it was weighing me down. And I just thank God we were able to overcome it.
That's good. Now, another thing that we've run across now, this is an interesting one because it caught my attention and it questioned my logic. Okay, so people are saying that you can take some oranges, right? Basically, and make your little concoction and steam it. And now the theory behind this is that the coronavirus lives behind the nasal passage, right? And in the back of the throat. So that way, if you breathe in this very hot steam, and I've seen people online breathing in hot steam, full of vitamin C and different things of that nature, it's supposed to kill the coronavirus and stop it from traveling down your throat into your lungs. Talk to me about that one.
Well, I actually did one of those things. They sent me an article about a young lady who took a blow dryer. She wet her face and she did the blow dryer on her face to let the heat go in the nose of the nasal passages. And so I did it. I was sitting, I went in the bathroom, I poured, I sprayed water on my face, and I plugged the dry, and I wasn't feeling good. I did it. I was falling asleep, and it was tough to breathe. And then I brought in the bedroom, and I did the same thing on the bed, and I didn't necessarily feel any better. And you see, when I had cancer, my tumor was behind my nose, so it was inoperable. So where this virus was located or began or whatever is in the same area where the tumor was when I got sick. So I'm thinking of all that stuff. And we had different family members from all over the country sending us the orange peel thing to do over the stove and all that. I didn't have the energy. We didn't have the energy to do it. I mean, if somebody would have came over here to do it and peeled and all that. But I tell you one thing that helped out during the time of when I couldn't taste the smell. One of our church members or family members, somebody brought over some tangerines. When I tell you them tangerines made my day, I couldn't eat real food, sick as a dog, and I'm like, I gotta get something in my body. I peeled that little tangerine, and that tangerine, it hit my stomach some good. Like I probably couldn't taste it in my mouth, but my stomach knew what it was, and it definitely helped out with getting some energy in my system. Yeah, a lot of those, you hear stuff, and again, it might have been valid for that person. Everything is not for everybody. I didn't discount everything. The ibuprofen probably does lower somebody else's immunity, but it doesn't do it for me and Lisa. So we can, like the story we're telling you now, it's going to be other people that had adverse effects than we had, and they probably took the ibuprofen with the Tylenol, and they didn't feel any better. But this is how it helped us. But it might help somebody else. You never know. But this is just a journey that we've taken, and God blessed us, and we hope it'll help somebody else.
Right. I'm glad you said that because, different bodies, different effects. Now, like I was talking about the steam, that did kind of make me wonder, and because it sounded very logical, like it could work. So what I had to do was do my own little research, and something that I found that I wanted to share, like according to the World Health Organization, hot temperatures do kill most germs. But here's the thing. It has to be at least 140 degrees Fahrenheit. To do it. Now, can you imagine breathing in or taking something in your throat that's 140 degrees, the type of damage it would do, or scalding yourself? So that's why when I learned that, I'm saying, oh, hold on. That steam can't work because there's no way nobody's breathing in something hot, especially without damaging their bodies. So that was kind of interesting to find that out, So that was something. Now, I know we've been on for a little while, so I'm gonna go ahead and conclude. Is there anything that y'all want to tell the people before we wrap this thing on up?
Whoever you have or know that is sick with COVID-19, and you find out and you actually know these people, take care of them. Reach out to them. Take them some groceries, do something nice, even if it's just a gallon of water, do something for them, because they would really appreciate it. They don't know and understand that that's what they need. Don't call them and say, let me know if you need something and I'll bring it over. No, just use some good sense on something that would help you out with if you weren't feeling well, like a rotisserie chicken, or like some Gatorade because they're going to be lethargic and not having energy to eat, or water, or fruit cups and pudding, cereal, milk, juices,
hand sanitizer.
All those things help out. And you're making a love deposit to your community. You're showing people that they matter. And our Facebook friends, my God, man, it was overwhelming, the love that we felt. And I thank God, because we go out our way when we see people to love on them. And so the love, the smile is contagious. The smile is more contagious than the coronavirus.
Amen.
And that smile can help make or break somebody's day. And when you just love on people and show them that they're worth something, they'll believe in that worth, and they'll treat themselves accordingly.
That's
Yeah,
right.
my cousin in Texas, she sent me a daily prayer every day. And, you know, once we got better, you know, she's trying to get an update on us and things like that. And once we got better, she didn't send it one morning. I text her, I said, where's my daily prayer at?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was used to getting those from her. So
Mhm.
that what lifted me up as well, along with the items that Taco just said. But just even if you just send a simple text to them,
Yeah.
things like that. Right
Yep.
now, we have a cousin in Flint in the hospital battling the disease, and you know, different things that we've been doing, and her daughter trying to encourage her. And it's difficult, and she can't see her mother, but we've been continuously lifting both of them up in prayer and also in text message and things like that. And I had somebody drop something off at the house. It's like you have to do something.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot not do anything.
You can't sit on the sidelines. You got to jump in and help out, because they need you, whether they know it or not. They need you in every way that you can help. They need, whether it's with the kid, people helped us out with our kid. You know, people helped us out in so many different ways, and it helped to boost our spirits.
Yep.
Yeah.
We saw that our daughter was doing good, like we talked about on her 18th birthday. We had my sorority sisters and different people did things to make her day a little bit better. So that made us feel better to see our daughter FaceTime us and say, Mom and Dad, thank you for the cake that you bought and you got delivered. Thank you for such and such dropping things off. So that made us feel better that she was happy.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's good. I really love to hear that. And I'm so glad that you two were able to share your testimony with all the listening audience. You two do matter. This world is a better place with you in it. I'm glad that you were able to see that with what you went through and all the love that people have for you guys. So it's just a really exciting thing. And I look forward to your journey after this, you know, and what you're going to do, because I know you understand even more so now. You know, you may not know what the future holds, but you truly know who holds your future, and it's not a
Amen.
virus, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are bigger than that, and I'm so glad for the love. I'm so glad for the interview that you did today. I'm so thankful. Taco, Lisa, thank you again so much for helping to bring truth to light. You're watching Truth to Light, y'all. All right, we're out. Peace, everybody.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you.
All right, have a blessed one.
All right.